So this video is designed to be a quick recap of consumer surplus, producer surplus, and total surplus. We've discussed willingness to pay and willingness to sell. Willingness to pay can create a demand curve, and willingness to sell is going to create our supply curve. And we looked at an example of Jason Bourne trying to escape Brussels and make his way to Paris. If we set the price at $4,000, we could see each individual's consumer surplus, and we could see each individual's producer surplus. People who are willing to pay less than the price are not going to be included in the market. People who are willing to sell for more than the price are not going to be included in the market as well. We can see that we reach an equilibrium here at $4,000. And at $4,000, we can calculate consumer surplus and producer surplus by just taking the difference in their willingness to pay and the price for consumer surplus, and the price and willingness to sell for producer surplus. If we sum all those together, we can get producer surplus and consumer surplus for the market. We also see that if we move the price down, we can again recalculate willingness to pay and willingness to sell and get our consumer and producer surplus. Notice in the market we have 4 people who are willing to buy, but only 3 people who are willing to supply. So we actually can't calculate consumer surplus in this instance. We could keep moving it down, and in this case we're going to have 2 people who would be priced, or 3 individuals, sorry, who would be excluded from the market. We would most likely see these 2 people in the market because they have the highest value on the ride to Paris, and these 3 individuals would most likely not be in the market. And these 2 are going to be the ones that are going to be supplying rides, the Uber driver and the person who's going to Paris anyways, and picking up hitchhikers. We could also go the other way, right? If we increase price, then we have higher producer surplus and lower consumer surplus. And if we increase price even more, then we're going to see that the people who are willing to sell for the lowest price are going to be the most likely to be included in the market. And people who are willing to sell for higher prices are most likely going to be excluded. We also said that large markets have a polynomial supply and demand. So we looked at the market for child actors. We said that there's lots of them, so we're going to see a polynomial style supply and demand, which just means we're going to take the area of these triangles to calculate consumer and producer surplus. If we want to get total surplus, we just add consumer and producer surplus together, and that will give us total surplus. We also looked at price shifts. So if there is something like a price floor or a price ceiling placed in the market, then we're going to have a maximum or minimum price. In this case, we have a minimum price of $500, and that leads to deadweight loss, an increase in producer surplus, and a decrease in consumer surplus. Overall, deadweight loss leads to markets being inefficient.